The Renault Clio has been around in various shapes and sizes for the last 20 years, and we Brits have still got a soft spot for this little French charmer. And in fairness, the current model is probably the best of the bunch. It's actually regained its French chic, except, as you can see, it's a lot bigger than when it first arrived on these shores. Renault started selling Clio over 20 years ago, and back then they used a couple called Nicole and Papa to try and entice British buyers. And over the years they've had various different celebrities, including of course Thierry Henry, who came with the Va Va Vroom slogan. Well, for a few years the Clio has not had over much Va Va Vroom, but in its current form it's regained quite a bit of Va Va Vroom. Renault have really given it a much more distinctive face now with the big bold Renault logo. I like the chrome area here, and it's got two little reflector lights in here, all of which have added more character to the car. Once again, it looks like a rather chic French Super Mini should do. I also like the big bold headlights, and it's got a lot of curves on it here as well. It's got good shape to it. A clever touch here is this looks like at first look a 3-door, but it has this very clever tall opening which turns it into a side opening for the rear door. And at the back, now that is a proper, very well rounded back end there. It's got plenty of style about it. It's a much improved car now. The days of when Super Minis were dull and uneventful things to drive and usually seriously underpowered are long gone. And this Clio is the perfect example. It's powered by a cracking little 1.5 litre diesel engine, and it really does go. The engine is also the perfect example of how clean and green diesel engines have become. This one emits just 90 grams of CO2. That means no road tax whatsoever, which is a great way to start. The other major bonus of the engine is it has got excellent MPG. The official figures are 83 miles per gallon. Now I think that will be rather ambitious in day-to-day driving, but if you're getting anywhere over 70 miles per gallon, which I'm sure this is capable of, then you are quids in when it comes to avoiding trips to the petrol pumps. Renault have always been good at doing sporty versions of the Clio, but in this more standard workman-like model, it's a nice drive. It doesn't match a Fiesta for handling, but it's a perfect little car for driving around town in, and it's comfortable. You also get a lot of room by Super Mini standards. This has got acres of room in the front and the back. I also like the interior of the Clio. Again, this has been dialed up several notches compared to the old one. It looks a very modern car inside. The main center console is dominated by this sort of iPad version here, where you get your sat nav and all of the other connected things that will link you to the outside world. I also like the refreshing simplicity of the controls on board the Clio. There's no massive buttons. It's very clean and tidy there. You've just got main buttons that you need in everyday use. Straight in front of you, you've got the heater controls, then you've got indicators, wipers, exactly where you'd expect them, and that allows you the rest of the time just to simply concentrate on driving the car. For my money, the Clio is one of the most striking Super Minis on the road, but there are other bonuses it has as well. I'm deliberately sitting in the back here to show you that unlike the Super Minis of not that many years ago that were tiny cramped little boxes, there is ample space with both knee room and headroom in this car. This is a totally practical family car, and that almost sums up very well the Clio. It's a little car that does most things very well. It's super efficient, it looks the part. It's one of the most sensible Super Mini buys you can make.